Hello there! Are you ready to learn how to make your very own Mondrian Inspired windsock? Don't know what a windsock is? A windsock is something that you can hang outside and it will blow with flowy little tentacles, almost like an octopus. But they look great, especially in our Wyoming wind. Now, you might be wondering, who is this Mondrian guy and why are we learning about him? So the reason we learn about him is because he was actually a very important artist who was born in the Netherlands in 1872. He died in New York here in the United States in 1944. But he was an important leader in an art movement that involved and preferred to work in his own style with very simple lines, which we've been learning about, and with the primary colors, which is what we're trying to learn about right now. So we're combining what we've been learning about with what we are. And to help reinforce, here's one of his artworks. This may be one that you also recognize from our centers. So you can see he's got the blue, the red, the yellows, the white and the black, the simple straight lines, right angles, and very easy design. So he's a great one to look at. And besides, artists have been copying other artists' work for years in order to learn how to make that type of artwork. So, are you ready to learn how to make your very own Mondrian Windsock? Coming up next. Now we are all set to make our own Mondrian Inspired windsocks. So our first step here is to do some cutting and gluing of shapes. So remember, when using your scissors, you're going to use the thumb in the little hole and the fingers in the bigger hole. You can always add that other one to the outside if you need a little bit more control. Our scissors point away from us, and we turn the paper with our non-cutting hand. I've already drawn some lines on these shapes here, and so I'm going to go ahead and cut them out using rectangles because Mondrian liked to use rectangles, but that doesn't mean that you have to use rectangles. You could add circles or squares if you wanted to. This is your artwork. You get to make those artistic choices. So I'm going to go ahead and finish cutting these out, and then they are ready to place. So another material that I'm going to need is my glue bottle. Okay, remember, we're going to open the lid, twist toward us, make sure that that little plug has gone down inside. I can even pick any dried glue off the top if I need to. I listen for the whoosh of air. Oh, I got some glue out, so I know this is ready to go. So now I can turn my glue upside down, let the glue run to the tip, add some little dots of glue, and hold them. Now, I'm going to add little dots of glue again to my small construction piece that I'm adding on. Press, hold, count to 10. Now, one option that you could do, if you don't want to do the cutting and gluing of the collage, you could go ahead and draw the shapes directly onto your white paper and then use your choice of coloring media to color them in. So let's say I want to add a little bit of yellow to this in crayon. I've drawn my square. Now I can use those good coloring skills to color in the square, making sure to color neatly and completely. Fill the space of my shape. There. And you could could do a little bit of both, just like I've done. Maybe you want to color some, maybe you want to glue some. You don't have to do all one or the other, but those are a couple of options. Now it's time for you to do the work. I'll see you when you're ready for the next step. Okay, so now you are ready for the next step, and this is how we are going to have a couple of choices again. One being what we practiced in centers of cutting and gluing strips. One thing that Mondrian liked to use was simple lines. And so in order to do that, you can cut your black paper into strips. Remember, you want them to be thick enough that you can add a glue dot to them without making a big mess. But then I can add my dots. A little dot of glue holds a lot. Just a little dot of glue holds a lot. And I can place those. They could frame any of my shapes that are on here. They could even extend beyond. Maybe I want to glue, ooh, that one might look cool right there. So again, I'll dot some glue to add that one. And add that one on. Now, again, if you're not that interested in doing gluing, you could add in some printing or stamping of your lines. So for that, you would need to go to where you can use cardboard pieces and black paint. So to do that, I'm going to take the edge of my cardboard piece, whichever edge is the size that you think you need or want. I'm going to dip that edge into the black paint, and then I can press the edge onto the paper. Ooh, I like that texture. So it kind of depends on whether you want a solid black line, or maybe you kind of like that rougher texture. And I can even stamp a couple of times without having to add more paint. So now you get to make your choice. And again, you could maybe try a little bit of both to add your black lines onto your piece. Next, we're ready to add some streamers to the bottom. Those are the ones that blow in the wind and make this so much fun. So what you'll need to do is get 4 pieces or 5 of the crepe paper. And we're going to turn our papers over. And 1 dot of glue on the bottom per streamer piece is all you will need. So you want to space them out. I'm going to go with the yellow one this time and make a pattern. You could do these all the same color. You could do all the primary colors, or maybe just pick 2 to make a pattern out of them. That part gets to be up to you. That's your artistic choice. And that step is done. Once that has had a chance to dry a little bit, or while that's drying, you can raise your hand and your teacher will come and help you roll this up. So to roll it, we make one big tube out of all of it. And then your teacher will come and help you by stapling it into that tube so that it will stay. Now that I have my tube stapled here, it's all ready to add a handle. So, much like we have done before, 1 dot of glue is all we need. So I'm going to put 1 dot of glue on each end of this strip. And then I'm going to stick the strip inside of the tube. Press, hold, count to 10, and I can reach this other one in here and get it in on the other side. So it kind of looks like a rainbow. And I'm going to hold it. Now you're not going to want to hang it by this for very long because it's not going to hold really well until the glue is completely dry. You're just holding it for the 10 seconds to make sure that it will stay. And then it is all done, ready to go. So that's how, there you have it. That is how you make a windsock that is inspired by the artwork of Mondrian. Enjoy!